Alright, I'm going to be doing a crazy breakdown on Zootopia 2 and how much truth they put in plain sight. It's in theaters right now, so if you don't want to ruin, favorite this and watch this video after you're done watching the movie. But this is a crazy good breakdown. The Linksley family in Zootopia 2 is a wealthy, influential Lynx family in Zootopia led by the patriarch Milton, who secretly possesses the true history of Zootopia's founding in a journal and a stolen patent from the reptile founder Agnes the Snake. Trying to hide it to maintain their power, while Judy and Nick, aided by Gary the Snake and Nibbles, uncovered the truth from the family and their book to reveal Reptile's rightful place in the city's history. Key members of the Linksley family are the patriarch, who wants to keep his family's dirty secrets buried, Milton Linksley, his kids, Catrick and Kitty, who are also helping him assist keeping these secrets buried, and then his youngest son, Paubert, who wants to be accepted in the family and recognized. And supposedly he turns his back on him, but he doesn't. He's just going and trying to get more information to give his family. And then Ebenezer Linksley, Milton's father, who's the original one that stole the patent of Zootopia from Agnes the Snake. Before I go any further into this movie breakdown, I want to show you something. One of my friends, Latasha, sent me this building of a free builders building, if you know what I'm talking about, called the Evening Star Lodge. And they have a Lynx right on the window. Also ironic, the Lynx and free buildery is most notably used in a fictional TV show, Lodge 49, where a lodge is called the Ancient and Benevolent Order of the Lynx, or Lynx Lodge 49. While the show is fictional, it portrays a fraternal order that has historical roots and uses symbolic animals and practice that does appear in various esoteric and symbolic traditions that have influenced free buildery. Clearly, this show is telling us truth in plain sight, just like the movie Zootopia is, because you can see right here, they really do have links that symbolize them. And this is the serpent seed. The free builders are the serpent seed. They come from Cain, Tubal Cain, who's the first free builder of them all. This is the same building, Evening Star, Lodge number 6, of course, and Eden Fresh, right here, with this rainbow. The lynx has historically been seen as a symbol of keen vision and penetrating insight in other esoteric traditions, such as Accademia dei Lincei in Italy, which adopted the lynx because its members were meant to have the eyes of a lynx to penetrate the secrets of nature. This is the fallen angels manipulating nature, manipulating God's creation for their own benefit. Lynx-eyed originally referred to Lynceus, a figure from Greek mythology who was famous for his sharp vision. He's the fallen angel offspring, and he's the prince of Egypt. As you can see where it says Greek mythology, Lynceus, son of Aegyptus, a prince of Egypt, who married his cousin, the Danaid Hypermnestra. His father-in-law, Danaus, had instructed all of his other sons-in-law to be killed on their wedding night, but Hypermnestra spared Lynceus, and Lynceus later became the king of the Argos. As you can see right here in Greek mythology, Lynceus was a prince of Egypt and king of Argos, succeeding Danaus on the throne. Through his marriage to the Danaid Hypermnestra, he began the Danaid dynasty that led to Perseus. These are all fallen angels. These are all their offspring and their origin story. Now back to the movie. The Linksley family book refers to the Linksley journal, or better known as Agnes's book patent that the Linksleys stole and then changed. It contained the true story of Zootopia's foundings and reveals that a reptile, Agnes the Snake, was the actual creator, not the Linksleys. And no, this is not about reptilians. The reptilians are the Linksleys, obviously, as I'm showing you. Ebenezer Linksley stole her plans for the climate walls, used snake venom to silence the witnesses, and framed reptiles, leading to their marginalization, their exile, people not wanting to be around them not being allowed in Zootopia. Doesn't that kind of sound like somebody these days? Watch out with the immigrants. Careful with the immigrants. They're here to drug traffic. They're here to human traffic. They're here to unalive you. They're here to take your jobs. They're here to destroy our economy. Who tells us that? Kind of reminds me of the Linksleys right now that we have in our government. Kind of reminds me of the Linksleys that run the world, Freemasonry. The family maintains their status by suppressing this journal and its truths, but Judy, Nick, and Gary uncover it at the Linksley Centennial Gala. The Linksleys are the primary antagonists, represented with their hidden prejudice and historical injustices in Zootopia. Now let's break down these names, like Agnes, the original founder. The name Agnes is of Greek origin, derived from the word hagne, meaning pure, chaste, or holy. It became popular across the European due to St. Agnes of Rome, a 4th century Christian martyr revered for her purity and devotion. If you go down to historical significance here, the name's popularity surged because of St. Agnes, a young martyr who was persecuted under the Roman Emperor Diocletian, because Diocletian was out there persecuting Christians left and right. So the actual founder is Agnes the Snake, who is holy, pure, and a Christian martyr. Now Ebenezer took that book, changed the history, suppressed the truth, and gave it their own narrative to this. And who's that? The word Ebenezer comes from the Hebrew words Eben, stone, and Ezer, help. And it's most famously known for the biblical story in 1 Samuel, where the prophet Samuel placed a stone to commemorate a victory over the Philistines and named it Ebenezer to remember God's help. But they don't got to do with Samuel in this situation. They are the Philistines, the Canaanites, the serpent seed, the cursed seed. That is who is the Linksleys in this story. The Philistines were ancient people who lived on the south coast of Canaan during the Iron Age in a confederation of city-states generally referred to as Philistia or Philistia. I never can say it right. Now, I 100% believe this is the real old world, and that this is really a situation in a story that involves around the history of the old world here being completely changed. That the promised land and the old world was indeed over here, and they are completely changing the narrative because the free builders are the ones who give us our history about this country. The free builders are the ones that are in our government. And who do they gaslight? Watch out! The Mexicans crossing across the border, they're dangerous, they're taking our jobs, they're the serial unalivers, they're the rapists, they're the human traffickers and the drug traffickers. When reality is, our CIA is the one who opened up the cartel down there in the first place. Our government are the links. They are the free builders. As I showed you, they have the links on their free building buildings. And who are they making everyone afraid of? The immigrants that they exiled out of their own land, like the Mexicans, Costa Ricans, all of these people that they are forcing out of here that originally belonged here in the first place. Taking their history and then telling all the zootopian animals, stay away from these reptiles. They're dangerous. They want to do all these horrible things to you. When in reality, the links, our government, are the ones doing the very thing that they're telling you to be worried about with someone who has nothing to do with it. That's conquer and divide right in our face. Conquer and divide 101 right there. Make each other fear each other by propaganda, by gaslighting, and by lies. It's all what they're really doing. It's straight up projection. Biblically speaking, the Canaanites always lived around amongst the Israelites in the Promised Land. They never fully unalived them all. God commanded them to, and they kept the king. They always wanted a king. All this is the Canaanites giving us fake history so that people don't know what land they're on, who the real people of this land are, and to conquer and divide. That's the whole tactic. Ironically enough, all of this land on the West Coast primarily was owned by Mexico at one point. Who are the people that they're constantly taking out and sending back down south? I'm not saying that the Mexicans are the only ones that are a part of this tribe, are part of the tribes. There's plenty of people. African Americans are part of the tribes, 100%. I'll even go as far to say I bet you more people don't understand how much we all have in common more than we don't. But the free builders are constantly trying to conquer and divide. Just like our United States thing says, united we stand, divided we fall. Look what they do, pointing fingers at each other when they're the ones that are doing the human trafficking, the drug trafficking, doing all the harm to everybody. And people are so indoctrinated to believe it and to trust in our government when God told us that you cannot love this world and God at the same time. You cannot serve two masters, that the devil is the God of this world. So why would you trust the governments of this world when the devil is the God of this world?